Is Indigenous self-government just supposed to be this complicated?
It actually is pretty complicated. Like, it permeates everything. We had blockades about pipelines, and that was, at the core of it, at the root of it was governance. We went and talked to the band chiefs, which are Indian Act chiefs. And we could have avoided that if we would have maybe cast a wider net and talked to the traditional leaders, the hereditary chiefs or matriarchs or clan mums or whatever community that you're working with has. And so also we had a lot of people, hundreds of thousands of people read 21 Things You May Not Know About the Indian Act. And I think they'd be curious to know about Indigenous self-government. And really what my deep aspiration is that we have a conversation about dismantling the Indian Act. And I want to dismantle it because it's been around for 150 years. Next year, 2026, will be 150 years of the Indian Act. And I think that's long enough. And all of the problems that I see that Canadians are having, that Indigenous peoples are having, have the source of those problems is the Indian Act.
Okay, and you always say we, funnily enough, but is there anything that the individual can do? Like, besides read the book, of course.
Yeah. Well, they're going to read the book and they're going to get involved. They're going to share their knowledge. They're going to learn more. They're going to participate in conversations. There's lots that we can do, individuals, whether they're Indigenous or non-Indigenous. I think what we really have to do is just put it on the agenda and talk about it. They could send letters to politicians. They could, get involved in group discussions. They could lead chats within their organizations. I think those are all activities, just to name a few that we have in the book.
Nice. Some of the challenges besides trying to get this concise and easily digestible to somebody who might not know a lot about Indigenous self-government?
I think there's three main issues that people, depending on where they're looking from, are concerned about. The first issue, the average Canadian doesn't know what it is. So they believe that Indigenous self-government is a separatist movement. That's the best way to describe it. Like Alberta wants to separate. And in the old days, Quebec wanted to separate. And so they believe largely that it's a separatist movement, and this book will shed light on that subject for you. The second main issue, when I talk to Indigenous peoples, is, are we ready? That's what they ask, are we ready? And to me, it's been 150 years of the Indian Act. You got to be ready. And then the third issue, which I think is really important, and it gets around issues around pretendianism and is really identity. Who are members of a community? And right now, for all of those people that are interested in dismantling the Indian Act, right now you only get to be an Indian if the Indian Act says you are. What am I working on next?
Yeah,
I'm going to be traveling around the country, talking about the book. What I'd like to do is really just engage as much of the population as I can. So we're going to be in libraries and bookstores and companies, and we're really going to try and shore up people's knowledge of Indigenous self-government, what it is, what it isn't, how they can be involved in the conversation. Some of the ideas that I would like to try would include facilitator guides, and if there's people that wanted to facilitate conversations in their workplace or at the band office or in their nation, like to be involved in that whole part of the conversation. I still have a training business where I'm trying to continue the work that I started in the 90s, training people on how to work effectively with Indigenous peoples.
Yeah, it's got a pretty snazzy icon and everything. Logo.
It's got the corporate logo.
Right there.
Yeah. And that really, I'm 62 now. I'll, hoping to go to 75 or something. Just keep going. I think there's a lot of work. I enjoy work and going to keep trying to do that important work.